So I have a lot of chores that I need to do, and the first thing that I need to do is fold this tower of laundry that I've put on my chair over here that I've been putting off for the last couple of days. So I'm gonna fold my laundry and also give you an update of how the last month has been going in my life. Um, so if you don't know, I lost my job at the beginning of February, end of January, but beginning of February. So the first 2 weeks, I pretty much didn't do much of anything. I just kind of went through the motions of suddenly becoming unemployed and also kind of just enjoying that I was still expecting a paycheck in the next 2 weeks that for work that I've already done. So I knew that I had money coming in. So I was just pretty much chilling for the first 2 weeks. And in that time, I I decided that I wanted to reignite my YouTube channel. For the last year or so, I was just posting old videos that I had already created that were on my Patreon and just repurposing them and putting them on my YouTube channel, and just to get me back out into whatever algorithm, or I don't even know like what the YouTube algorithm or anything is, but just getting myself like out there and having more content on my channel so that people who happen to come across any type of video that I posted more recently, they have more things to go through on my channel. And it was great. It was a good plan. I feel like I grew pretty rapidly in just the year, especially not actually posting. So now I felt like, hey, I have all this time. The entire time of me working, all I did was complain and be really sad that I wasn't creating content consistently. It is truly a full-time job, and some people are able to do both, right? Where they can make content, have a full-time job, go to work 9 to 5, and then come home and work on their passion projects. I'm not one of those people. I really get consumed by my work, and I feel like it's so emotionally draining because I'm dealing with the stresses of a job and then also being a mother and also having my own personal emotional issues, and also kind of like grieving the fact that I am not a full-time content creator anymore, or I'm not a full-time hula hooper. And if you're new here, this is the first video that you're watching, go check out my channel. I post hula hoop content. This is very different from what I usually post, but the last couple of weeks have been great. I feel like I've gotten into a groove of making videos and making it part of my day, and editing is really fun for me. I like doing it. So I've been able to put out things consistently, maybe not as consistent as I've wanted to. I was hoping to make videos once a week, but the creating ideas of tutorials, editing them, and posting them was just too much for me to maintain a weekly schedule of. I could get into these grooves where I would like batch content and edit and have things lined up for the next couple of weeks, which is ideal, but sometimes I just fall out of a creative groove and don't want to do anything. And I think that that's also me just kind of dealing with imposter syndrome, anxiety, fear, self-doubt, all the emotions that keep me from doing the thing that I want to do, because this is a really tough thing to do. I feel like everything that I see online and on YouTube, it's like, oh, it's so easy, but it's not, especially if you're in a super niche category like me, I feel like I am in a space where I am somewhat in the top percentage of creators in my field, which is hula hooping. However, that is also a smaller group that I am catering to. So most people who are online watching my videos are not searching for my content. It has to be the people who are, in the hula hooping community and are actually, wanting to learn, which is great. Like, I'm so happy that you're here, like you're the reason why I create this content, because it is really fulfilling to create content about something that I am passionate about and brings me joy, and it helps other people harness that energy and that power and that magic that hula hooping brings. Like, don't get me wrong, I love that. However, I feel like my content is so small. Not my content is small, but I feel like my content is focusing on such a small group that it's hard for my channel to be a magnet to other people. And it's also because I haven't been creating content like this, which is really the end goal. And I think that some things that I have been grappling with or just realizing about myself is I feel really insecure about the way that I speak. I feel like my vocabulary is very limited, and I think it's because my attention span is really short, like a lot of people nowadays. And I think that I'm always consuming things that would benefit me and, be educational and help me grow my vocabulary, or at least get me into that direction where I feel like I can articulate more clearly. However, I'm noticing about myself that although I am consuming things, like I am watching content that is going to get me there, I am also not being present in the content that I am consuming. As I'm reading, watching, listening, I'm always in my head. And I feel like the reason why I'm always in my head is because I have all these fears, doubts, imposter syndrome, everything that I said before. And it's, it's like, I feel like it's always this like voice or something that's in my head. It's like, why are you doing this? What's the point? You're never going to get there, and I'm doing all that I can by changing all the things that I have in my life and being more on the wellness spectrum and only consuming content that is like good for me, looking into ways that can better my body, make me stronger, help me lose weight, things that will help me feel more confident in myself. However, I always have this person that's talking like in the back of my head or on my shoulder being like, no. What makes you think that you get to have all those things? What makes you think that you deserve to have all those things? What makes you think that you are allowed to be confident? What makes you think that you can have your dream? And that has been an emotional learning experience for me for the last couple of weeks, especially, where I take note when things like that are happening and just acknowledging it and pushing it away. Acknowledging it and crying and then pushing it away. Or acknowledging it and saying, hey, that's not true, and talking back to it and pushing it away. I think that has been the biggest learning experience over the last couple of weeks, that I know that I have suppressed emotions and suppressed anger and trauma and all those things, just knowing everything that I have personally been through. However, I have been the kind of person where I don't want it to dictate my life. So that's why I'm always on this opposite side of the spectrum, where I'm constantly trying to be better, because I don't want it to be an inhibitor where I can fall into this negative cycle and this negative thought loop of being like, oh, this happened to me, that therefore I am not good enough, therefore I can't do this, whatever. So that's why I'm always consuming all these things. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, even though I am thinking that I don't want to succumb to that negative thought and wrong idea of myself because of my circumstances, I also haven't been fully addressing it. You know, like, I know that it's there and I don't want to be that person. However, it's still coming up. Like, it is still a common thought that comes through my mind on a day-to-day basis, and it really gets me sometimes. And I think the last couple of weeks, the biggest thing that I have been learning and just taking note of and acknowledging and realizing that this is not a true fact. This is just a thought that I am allowing to stop me from achieving anything, you know? The last couple of weeks I've just been like really realizing that and seeing where my triggers are. And whenever I do feel triggered, I do this thing where I just like let myself cry for like 10 seconds, and then I'm like, okay, that's it. It's not true. Like, this is just you getting it out. Something triggered you. Why did that trigger you? And just moving on. And it's been really horrible, really horrible, but really helpful. You know, I feel like, you know, I don't go to therapy or anything, and I know that I should. However, like, I know it's like super expensive, and like I said, I'm not currently working right now, so it's a little tough for me to do that. However, my therapy has always been going in front of a mirror and talking to myself as if I am my own best friend. Really detach my thoughts and imagine as if the person that is staring back at me is not me. It's my friend. And I talk to myself in a way where how I would want to be talked to and how I would want to talk to my friend. And it makes me feel so much better. That is my form of therapy right now, and it truly is helping. Like, I used to do that a lot when I wasn't working, and now I'm revisiting that. And I feel like when I wasn't working, aside from not being free with my time, I felt like I was so much more spiritually free because I was practicing speaking to myself and addressing my emotions and validating my own emotions and saying like, hey, that's not you anymore. That's your past. That everything that happened was not because of you, you know? And it sucks because it feels like it wasn't you, but you're being punished because you're holding on to that emotion that someone else did to you, or that you allowed someone to do to you, or whatever. And it has been like just a process of letting go, and it's been really painful and tough and really healing and fulfilling. And I feel like this time has been really eye-opening for me. I feel like I've grown a lot emotionally and understanding what it is that I want and don't want out of this life, especially just as a person. When it comes to a job, a career, whatever, I don't know. I don't know. And I'm admitting that now. Just saying, like, I don't know. And that's okay that I don't know. I know that it's going to present itself to me. I have faith. I know the universe is on my side. But I know that I have a lot of things that I need to work on, and I have a lot of things that I need to address, and I've been chipping away at it every single day, and it's been getting better and better every single day. So this was a long and unscripted and very all over the place thought dump. If you see this, I'm so sorry if you got nothing out of it. But I also hope that you know, or at least like feel inspired, that if you have no one to talk to yourself, talk to a camera, talk to yourself in the mirror, address the emotions, act like your own best friend. This might be kind of embarrassing that I'm going to post it online, but is what it is. I need to post things, and I'm posting this, I guess. All right. See you in the next one.